Yeah, I guess my general question is I'm just experiencing quite a lot at the moment. A lot of brain fog or memory loss. I feel like it's almost like the intellect is being dismantled, the intellectual. So everything that where I've come from in the past, where it's come from a learned or accumulated knowledge and all that sort of stuff is being dismantled. And it almost feels as if the invitation to speak from a higher place, so almost from a flow state or being spoken through, as opposed to speaking from the intellect. And it's actually this. It can actually be quite frustrating sometimes when I try to explain things or trying to just have a dialogue with people. I just want to know whether, yeah, that's something that you've experienced.
Yeah.
I can really feel that. Yeah, it's that intellect aspect of me that's being dismantled. So that's sort of given me a little bit of reprieve. I won't go to thinking of something, silly happening or memory loss. It's just I know that there's something deeper happening.
Yeah, great. I think you're onto it. Yeah, the different faculties get dismantled and then rebuilt to be used in new ways, right?
Mm.
So in the past, the intellect was all we had, right? It was all we had, and so we made good use of it. But it's a clunky thing at times. It can cause some problems, of course. We can overuse it, or we give it a little bit too much power, and think that it knows everything, and it can let us down. And so when we come to this point, it becomes dismantled for a couple reasons. Of course, there is the idea that, like I said, it's being rebuilt, but also in this period, the interim period, it becomes dismantled so that we can look at it and really get some clarity on what it was all about, how it served us, how it didn't serve us. Now we see where, we recognize things by their absence as well. So we can say, oh, wow, like I'm losing these faculties. And that's how it was serving me this whole time. It will come back, maybe not in the same way, but in a new way. Often it's the intellect, which is the one that also creates problems and wants to solve those problems in our minds, which is of course past future thinking unnecessarily. I experienced this as well. It was very troubling for a period where I couldn't even read. Like I would read the words, there was no meaning behind it. It was very, very strange and alarming because I was like, I don't know if I'm becoming like stupid or something. Um, Eventually that went away, and in fact, when I read something, it's from a different place now. Um, there's like a higher functioning, you could say. Not that I'm a genius, it's just there's different ways of processing the information now. Also, we're making space for intuition. We're making space for the creative side to also come in to problem solving, not just the intellectual, rational, logical side. The creative side can also come in as well. This creates space, and we need space to receive downloads and insight and information and to be a channel. So what a channel is a channel is an open space. They're a hollow tube through which the information, the energy, the inspiration comes through. And so there needs to be some empty space for that to happen. And so that's where the intellect gets sort of dismantled and put aside so that now we can be channels, because you can't channel and also be overthinking at the same time. This is why we see many people that are channels. Of course, they go into a meditative state, but we don't have to necessarily be a channel as if you're sharing spiritual messages. You can also be a channel by flowing through life. Your chores can become a channeled experience where you're just watching as the Tao, as the flow moves through you to wash the dishes and to walk and to do anything and even to talk and to relate, even if it's not spiritual in nature, the material you're talking about. So there's a whole new dimension of operating in life that most people don't know is available to us, but it's coming. And this may be where kids operate from. This may be where people that are intoxicated operate from, because the intellect is not necessarily there operating at full force, over operating, right? So the executive functioning, I think I described it once before. Many of us over executively function or over function executively. That's getting a little bit of a reconsideration here. So stick with it, know and trust that it's good overall. You're not going to be just abandoned in the middle of this process. There's more to come, and it will all make more sense. Yeah, it's a very common thing with the mind seeming like it's just disappearing. Memory as well. I guess I didn't touch on Hugo's question about memory. Once again, I think it's over functioning. We remember too much unnecessarily, and then we go to a period where we can't really remember anything, and then we're like, oh my God, I can't remember anything. Eventually, it comes to a point where you remember what's necessary to remember, and you let go what is not necessary. The memory doesn't become this haunting thing anymore.